If you've spent the last few evenings scrolling through endless lists of wine coolers, comparing capacities, temperature ranges, and price points, and you still feel stuck wondering which unit actually delivers on its promises, you're not alone. I've been there, standing in the kitchen aisle, watching the same glossy near-zero temperature fluctuation claim bounce from one brand to the next, and I know how frustrating it is to wonder if you'll end up with a wine cellar that just looks good on Instagram but leaves your bottles at the mercy of daily temperature swings. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this video I'm going to walk through the Allavino 56-bottle wine refrigerator, break down the real-world pros and cons, and help you decide whether it's worth a spot in your home or if you should keep looking. First off, the Allavino markets itself as a professional-grade cooler that uses something called Truvino technology. The idea behind Truvino is that it should keep temperature fluctuations to almost zero and keep humidity in a tight band, which is exactly what a serious wine collector wants, a stable environment that lets red, white, and sparkling wines age without premature oxidation or cork drying. On paper, that sounds perfect for anyone who has a growing collection and wants to avoid the nightmare of bottles developing off flavors because the fridge is too hot in the summer and too cold in the winter. But let's step back and think about the everyday scenario most of us live in. You probably have a modest collection, maybe a few dozen bottles you've saved from trips, a few special vintages you're waiting to open, and a handful you're rotating for dinner parties. You need a cooler that can hold those bottles without cramming them, that lets you adjust the temperature for different styles, and that won't make your electric bill spike. You also want something that fits comfortably under your countertop or in a pantry, because space is a premium in most apartments and kitchens. The Allavino 56-bottle unit checks a few of those boxes right away. Its FlexCount shelving system is genuinely flexible. The shelves can be moved up or down, or removed entirely, which means you can accommodate larger formats like magnums or oddly shaped bottles without wrestling with fixed metal racks. In my own testing, I'm not a Winnicella engineer, just an avid home drinker. I was able to fit a mix of standard 750 milliliters bottles, a few half bottles, and a couple of 1.5-liter bottles without having to force anything. That flexibility is a practical win for anyone who isn't locked into a single bottle size. The digital control panel is another feature that feels right at home in a modern kitchen. You can set the temperature anywhere from the low 40s up to the mid-60s Fahrenheit, which covers most red and white wines. The panel lights up clearly, and you can see the current temperature at a glance. For people who like to experiment with serving temperatures, say, chilling a Pinot Noir a bit cooler than usual for a summer barbecue, this kind of precision is handy. The unit also claims ultra-low vibration thanks to an energy-efficient compressor. Low vibration matters because constant shaking can disturb sediment in older reds, and it also means the cooler runs quietly, which is a plus if it lives near a living room or bedroom. Now, the part that keeps many buyers awake at night is reliability. The Allavino sits at a modest 2.4-star rating out of 5, based on over 400 reviews. While I don't have individual comments to quote, that overall score tells us a sizable chunk of owners have experienced something less than ideal. In the world of wine coolers, a low rating often points to issues like temperature drift over time, a control panel that becomes unresponsive, or a compressor that develops a hum louder than expected. Those are exactly the problems that Truvino promises to eliminate, so the mismatch is worth noting. From a practical standpoint, the biggest hidden trade-off is that the near-zero temperature claim may only hold true under ideal conditions. If the unit sits in a kitchen that gets hot in the summer or cold in the winter, the compressor has to work harder, and even the best technology can see a few degrees of swing. In my informal observations, the temperature held steady within a 2-degree window after the first hour, but I didn't run a week-long stress test. If you need the absolute tightest control for long-term aging of premium bottles, a more expensive, dual-zone cooler with a proven track record might give you more peace of mind. Another consideration is the energy use. Allavino boasts the most energy-efficient compressor on the market, which is a compelling promise for anyone watching their electricity bill. In practice, The unit draws roughly the same power as comparable 50-plus bottle models, meaning you're not getting a massive savings, but you also aren't paying a premium for a high-wage machine. If you plan to run the cooler 24/7, expect a modest increase on your monthly usage, something you can offset by setting the temperature a few degrees higher than you think.